A lot of shocking Blake and Justin news has come in. We brought Ron Zambrano back to break it all down. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. So honored to have Ron Zambrano back. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Andy. Thanks for having me on again.
Always appreciate you fitting us in. Let's get right to it because I know you got limited time. I want to start with this mystery witness. We're going to talk about this mystery witness, some Taylor stuff, as well as the new lawyers. I want to get your perspective on all this new information. This mystery witness has come forward. This declaration, we talked about at the end of the last video. We're here. Basically how, he requested that Justin not be on set and he felt he had negative interactions and verbal abuse. Apparently it wasn't. It ends with us is what TMZ is reporting and other outlets. Now a new document's coming in, and perhaps you can help explain from Blake's side, basically trying to keep this person anonymous. Is this going to work? Does this mystery even matter if this person had previous experience that wasn't on It Ends With Us set? What is your reaction to this, and what do you think is going to happen?
These are great questions. So I think what's important for the public to understand is that the Blvd attorneys most likely got an unredacted version of the declaration. And the significance of filing a redacted version of the declaration means that there's this unspoken rule that is a hard and fast rule that unless the court okays it, what is redacted cannot be exposed to the public. That being said, if the court does not rule after it is filed, if the court does not rule that it can remain redacted or sealed, however you want to call it, then by operation of law, which is another way of saying by default, it has to be either stricken from the record or filed with an unredacted version of the form. So this is something that's very common, because you need to get something in and you need to file it, and you may not have a chance to get permission first, but you have to ask permission later, or else you waive it and and then bad things happen. So what this is just the Blvd attorneys going, okay, we know we gave this declaration without your permission initially, but now we're asking permission to protect this person's identity by keeping things redacted. And which is what I don't see. What I don't see is a declaration or reference to a declaration from the actual declarant going, this is my fear, this is why it's a reasonable fear, other than the speculation.
Which, not to interrupt, but we as creators had to do. Judge Lyman didn't give a crap about some of the creators who weren't public figures, who had anonymous channels being doxxed by Blake Lively's lawyers. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, her trying to protect this source, which she's using for media attention. Clearly, she talks about it, which I believe she's using to her benefit, right? How can this witness just be sort of kept in the dark all this time? And then it's well, if they testify, or it's she's absolutely used this as another person has come forward. Doesn't he have a right to defend himself?
Absolutely. Yes, I agree with you. We talked about it later. Because the redacted verb, what is not redacted kind of goes this doesn't really matter. There's so I would say about a quarter of it is redacted. So what is that stuff, and why does it all have to be redacted to protect the identity of the person? So maybe half now that you brought it up. But so content wise, yes, I agree. But again, I'm sure Blvd has an unredacted version of this, and they know who this is, and they know what this all says. They aren't making a big stink about it because it's probably a fight they'll win later, that this doesn't have to do with anything, which we initially said, because it doesn't, from what we can read, it doesn't really okay, he's mean. All right, what does it have to do whether or not he sexually harassed Lively?
Right, or retaliated. That's my point. So does any of this really matter? It does feel like she's once again using the court to sort of put out theories and let it be out there and simmer in the press for her benefit, which she's accusing Justin of doing, but she's clearly doing as well, no?
Yeah. So something we've talked about that Friedman did, and I think Lively's attorneys are doing it now. This is also probably the only way this particular declarant would have even signed the declaration, going you have to guarantee me that you're going to do everything possible to keep me anonymous. And this is probably an upholding of that promise, because after that they can go well, now it's up to the judge, and we've done everything we can. That's another option.
I want to talk Taylor Swift because in my purview, this seemed like a mistake. Like they did not do a good job in this Taylor Swifting. Maybe there really wasn't there, but they were able to kick up enough suspect to think that there was something here. But now Taylor's team is opposed. I mean, you tell me what seems true in this, that they only found out a few days before. She only just heard about this 3 days ago. She did not agree to deposition, but if she's forced into it, she can. And then she gives sort of these dates of where she is available, given her work schedule. The judge did not. So then Wayfair asked for a delay and said, she gets available then. Can we do it? And the judge is like, no, you've had 6 months. I mean, a lot of people want to be mad at Lyman, but I feel like you made a good point. Do you believe this? Do you think there's something behind this that we're not seeing to benefit Wayfair? Or do you see this like I do? And this was kind of, they took too long and this is a mistake.
I think it's both, because Lively did get an extension for her request to finish off a couple depositions in the 10 days or whatever that they ended up getting. The problem is this: Lively was able to show that we just got like almost 100,000 documents, and we need to figure this out and finish our discovery. It's not our fault we got stuff late. You don't have that kind of reasoning or excuse, let's call it, by the Friedman attorneys. They're just like, well, we wanted to get it in on time. She's not available. So can we please extend it till she is available? Most of the time, that will be granted, in my experience, because you're dealing with a global celebrity who probably, you can't force them to show up. So this might be one of those instances, Andy. Remember I told you I was afraid for Friedman because he was filing these things that the judge told him before, don't file things like this, and you'll need the judge's goodwill later on. I think it bit him in the butt here, because it's very strange that a witness who was timely noticed, that is not available by no fault of their own, of the party, that there's not one exception, right? You can only do one thing past the cutoff, and you only get 6 hours past the cutoff, and do it on the day that I know is available. Within the discretion of the judge, he could say no. And this is one of those things that I was afraid later on, by what Friedman did with those initial filings, that the judge did get mad at, that he was going to lose the goodwill of the judge and bite him later. And I think this is it.
What do you think's actually happening with this? Because they claim they dropped the subpoena right before. They weren't going to deposition her. They said, and the rumors were, we got what we wanted. And then it's like, well, what did you get is what the big question mark is. The judge did deem that the texts are relevant. So do you think they got them and they're just holding that? Do you think they didn't get them? Can they still depose her? That's the other question of, they still have some time here. Can she literally say, no, I told you the dates I'm available. You didn't give me enough notice. And then what do you think the next step is?
Unless she says, I really am available before the 30th or the date of the
20th,
date, the cutoff, that deposition cannot go forward. She can be called at trial later, and everybody gets to hear what she says then. That can happen, but she cannot be deposed past the cutoff date. And whether she's available or not because of Baldoni's doing now is irrelevant based on what the judge says. To answer your other question about why wait, what is this, 4 months later? That's a great question, Andy. And it might have to do with what they thought the significance of the text messages isn't as important now as it meant back in May. And they probably go, really do need to take her deposition for things that she needs to explain, or else we won't know until the day of trial, which is always a danger in front of a jury. When you're doing it live, you don't want to ask a question you don't already know the answer to in trial, because it could bite you.
Absolutely. Now, that echoing sort of the changing of teams, they just added Alexandra Shapiro, who's no joke, helped Diddy, I feel like, get less charges. She's done a lot of really serious case law. One of the people in her office worked for Lyman specifically. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think this is a smart move? Is she a good attorney? Do you think this will help them? And why do you think they picked her?
But Shapiro is obviously an incredible attorney. I think they picked her for her to lead things to prepare for trial, which this signals to me this case is not going to resolve. This signals to me that this is going to go to trial. And they're bringing on someone who, not just for her name, but she's incredibly skilled as a trial attorney, preparing a narrative, preparing opening statements that Friedman is probably still very good at. But this is the thing. You are now having a female that's going to go cross-examine the female plaintiff. And that is a good tactical move.
Yeah, indeed. And so do you think Blake and Ryan are getting nervous? Could this be a tactic to try to get them to settle?
It could be a tactic, but somebody like Ryan Reynolds, who in all instances is a very powerful guy with a lot of money, probably doesn't care. probably doesn't care. Maybe Lively's more scared than her husband, but I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares about this at all. I think he's like, let's go for broke. I don't care. I have lots of money. You know, my 4 houses and there's heated pools will always be that, regardless of this.
Jeez, it's so depressingly a waste.
Final
Final thought, because I know you got to go. Who's winning now? I always like to ask you, where do you think this is headed? Will this help you give a point to one side or the other?
This is definitely going towards Lively here. Not allowing a party to take depositions of who they want to is a big hit. It is a big, big hit. And I think it's something Friedman unintentionally upset the judge, for the judge to be like, I'm not giving you any leeway because you pissed me off before. That's my opinion.
There it is. What do you guys think in the chat? Let us know in the comments down below. Always appreciate you, Ron. Thank you so much. I know you got to go. Hit the subscribe, though, folks, while you're still here. Hit the bell for all alerts. Smash that thumbs up as well. And leave your comments down below. Leave your questions. We'll try to bring Ron back for them as well. Always appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned. We got a lot more coming your way here on Popcorn Planet.